To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When O supreme amongst humans you were born on this earth, you paced our 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, flame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Saviour having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of mirror with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and to also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects. With supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 15, the Heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Bhagawan was dwelling on Massive Vulture's mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagawan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perfection. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharadvatiputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Tayata gate gate parasam gate bodhisoha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasatva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. Page 25. Osashi Purki Jukshen Mechol Tramri Rablingji Nidegen Padi Sangye Shingdu Mite Ulwa Shing la chupasho Jetsun lama dampa kenan ki chukur kala kien se chinjigne jita sampe Duce cinema la sab gechuki chapa babdu so idam guru rana mandalaka niriyatayani Sanje Chodan Soki Chanama Chanjo Gadu Dani Jasa Dagi Chijin Jive Sonam Ji Dora Pinje Sanje Dobara Sanje Chodan Soki Chanama Chanjo Gadu Dani Jasa Dagi Chijin Jive Sonam Ji Dora Pinje Sanje Dobara Sanje Chodan Soki Chanama Chanjo Gadu Dani Jasa Dagi Chujin Jive Sonam Ji Dora Pinje Sanje Dubara Shu Kange de Nyesame Dawa de Bangwa Yi de Mishin de Zeve Gudam de la Chadel
So the general Bandez Lamarambojan, the European meditation, goes on the Jimodo, so that Gulon Gomyago Scavias.
So now let's do a good motivation meditation.
Oh, that Gawa comes, Gawa.
So now rejoice.
Maybe we will do some breathing exercise. You know very well. Kom jadan shingi rasta.
So you guys know this breathing exercise.
No, short breath. Now we will do some breathing meditation. Oh yeah, that that dewa didn't dewa shit dewa. I guess in dewa shit sarwa dewa shit dewa. That dewa le ni nangbegi choose na re nangbe da drup tang that is na that dewa chambu shoje. Real haba de drup da shijag de ya chi tang. Mara zu chongo na la dewa le di da. 개정부를 해서 디인디다 저 내단의 심배이나 이배하고 요레스.
So today we'll be talking about explaining relations, as on page 178. Now this is very important in Buddhism, and in particular in the philosophical view of Buddhism. It comes up a lot in the tenets, when you talk about the different tenet systems and so forth. This relationship comes up a lot, but it also comes up in our daily life. So it's very good to be able to understand it.
당에 뇌라디 베제 ton다드마데 엔디네 뭐라서 소응을 나라야 삼단다 데데 자기지기 치나 야부도로.
So might first go over the text and explain that, and then once done that, explain how it relates to your daily life.
다델라델라다 지데월라스라 지른데월라 품바당 품베 연라드 다 연라드 촉바다 촉바진기 되와 다디 품발라야디 데지 저런서 삼노당 갖고 있는 메도당 메도당 메도디 촉바래라 메도 촉바진스 촉바 연라스나 모도지 메도 로마당 칼라당 수시당 두주 정말 메도가 연라로 대단 그 촉바디 연라당 연라진스 촉바당 촉바진스 어딘데기 되와지 연구요레스로.
So, as it says here, in general, there can be different types of relations, like the one between a composite entity and its parts, such as a vase and the components of that vase. So we talk often comes up, this vase comes up a lot in the Tibetan system, but maybe for us it's easier to relate to this flower. So we can take a flower and we can see it's a collection of its parts, its color, its shape, its stem, its petals, and so forth. So there's the various divisions or the aspects of this flower, and that this gathering of that together, or this collection, makes up a flower. So there's a relationship between that composite phenomena, the flower, and the aspects that it possesses, or the parts it possesses.
대화 신다지 가려서나 슈바당 싱다위 캡지 땅도 그전 지단 체다로인바 어디래 지시다가 대화되리다.
And then or like the one between a juniper and a tree. So a superset and a subset, and we explained this in universals in particular as we went over this.
다연데 제바다 미다바도 cam냥 된지게 최게 네 발기 단위지게 되어서 다 제바다 미다원이 직바이 뭐당 지시라디 캡증으로 cam냥배야 대화 용조던데 용거요 레스로.
So then or like the one between being produced product and being impermanent. So product and impermanent, these things are mutually inclusive. So it's mutually inclusive. Kabnam literally means equally pervasive. So whatever one pervades, the other pervades. This is different to this universal and particular relationship where, like flower and functional thing, there's a difference between the two. One is a subset of the other, whereas these are equally pervasive. Whatever one does, whatever one pervades or includes, the other one pervades and includes.
그다음 유진사 퇴직스라 다단다 퇴직들이 제와도 미다바데 퇴직이 되와데 지단 제다데 니 슈바단 싱디 연라단 연라진사 나 초바단 초바진사데 간라 품바단 품베 초바 메도고 초바사데 어디 예들에서 차단 차제남 단위직베게 되와 디게 정말 네 단위직이 되와 되와들 따징데 대중데서 샤고라다 단위직베 되와서 샤고레스로.
So it goes on to say, among these, there exists an intrinsic relationship between mutually inclusive phenomena, between a general set and the subset, between the parts and the whole, between a composite entity and its components. The relationship that exists between cause and effect, on the other hand, is the causal relationship. So when we talk about these things like product and impermanent, they're synonyms, or Tanjik means literally one meaning. What one is, the other one is. And also this universe in particular, they have what is called, it's like an intrinsic relationship, right? So this is one type of relationship, this intrinsic relationship. And then the other type is this causal relationship, or this dependent, like cause and effect and these things. So these are the two types of relationships.
어디 대화디 다징디 대화다 대중디 대화로 저 강단 강 윤대 임바텔라 대중디 대화시 다 대화들라 다징디 대화다 대중디 대화니 인고이나나 다는 대화스나 가래스와 오나 응을라데 다징디 대화다 대중디 대화 뭐시거든 대화스나 가래스나 아니 대외게 신이들에서 대외 신이로 대외 신이들 최대당데 다대 강시 최대 독도지 최도고와 대대 대외 뭐 인슬라도 어디를
So, as we said, we talked about this intrinsic relationship, and then the other type of relationship is like cause and effect, has this causal relationship. So that's the different types of relationship, but what is this relationship itself? So if we look at the definition of relationship, it goes on to say, it is different from that, and the absence of that necessarily entails the absence of it. And it says, if differentiated, there's two types of relationship: intrinsic relationship and causal relationship.
최대당 타대 강한시라서 제주 당부들로 대외치 최대당 타대 강한시 아니 최대 독배도지 지시 도고와 대시로 뭐왜 뭐레스 답답디마 제일 대외나 레임으로 요나.
Okay, so just going through it. So it is different. We said tate, I think it was distinct, or so it's phenomena and they're distinct. From that, the absence of that necessarily entails the absence of this. So basically, if you eliminate one, you necessarily eliminate the other, essentially. If you eliminate one, or the absence of one necessarily means the absence of the other, would be literal.
다베나 다징디 되어라 이나 다징디 되어 대중이 되어 니체로. 다 다징디세데 갈라고라 다징디기 진이 있으나 가르스나 체주 최로 최대단 단위 지배고네 다데 아니 최대면은 최메가와데 최대 단위 지배고 그래서 다징디 중 그래서.
So then, looking at these two types of relationships, the intrinsic relationship and the causal relationship. So looking at the intrinsic relationship, so the definition of something intrinsically related to a phenomena is something that is distinct from a phenomena because of being intrinsically the same as that phenomena, and that phenomena does not exist, then it won't. And if that phenomena does not exist, then it necessarily does not exist. Does that make sense? Okay, cool.
Pena nye peshauna pena medodang medomabodang medoni shashiro medomabod medoni ro.
Yeah.
medomabodang medoni di dajingdi deoro. 그래서는 메도마보다 메도디 단위지로하고 지시라로하다 단위지로와 이나 타데레도 메도마보다 메도라나 타데레도 그니 다타데레도 다 최대 도나스도 메도메나 아니 메도마보다 메고로다 간다 야세 메도라나디 메도치라고디 메고 지디메디 지메도드메나 메도마보다 메차로고로 하데레다 최도도지 최도도나 최도고서 데레다.
Okay, so breaking it down a little bit. Something that is a distinct phenomenon because of being intrinsically the same as that phenomenon. So taking red flour and flour. So they are distinct. Red flour and flour are, first of all, they're distinct phenomena, but they're intrinsically related because they are universal. So flour is the universal and red flour is the particular. So therefore they have this intrinsic relationship. And if that phenomenon does not exist, then it does necessarily not exist. So what it means here is that phenomena being flour and it being red flower. So if flower does not exist, then red flower, of course, does not exist, right? So this shows this type of intrinsic relationship.
다디 베나 데다니 캡치중 제로와 다 캡냠발라잖아 아니 제와 다 미다원이라고 봐 메도 딩기 제와다 메도 딩 미다발라잖아 메도 미다와다 메도 제발라나 메도 미다와다 메도 제와니 다와도 딱 핀지리 메도 미다면은 메도 제와 메고를 메도 제와면은 메도 메고를 다 딩이고 지시도로고다 디 캡냠바대로 왔다 간다.
So that's for something that is greater pervasion and smaller pervasion, the subset of the other. Now, things that are equally pervasive, like a synonym, like the product impermanence, or you could say the product aspect of a flower and the impermanence of a flower. You know, they are equally pervasive. However, they are distinct phenomena, but they're like equally pervasive in that if you eliminate one, you eliminate the other. So it's mutually pervasive rather than a subset of the other one.
다디 콩디 참만남제 셰도 데직디 저와지겸 상상네 자직도 저와데데 겸나 야고여고 파자샤그로와 저와지 마도와야 베저로 다야라나 직톤다 신야라데 파자샤도 있으나 직도죠 먼저 레라고 전냐 셰데나 저야 말이야 산도 직탁보도서 데데 삼다나 남자마고이나야 고 파자샤네 저와지 마도와야 베저다니라고데 저렘비나요 고 직도 통한디 남산 신야라 핀도 용고라.
So, you know, now it's good to look at these root verses where these come from, like in the Exposition of Valid Cognition. So it's very good to learn about these root verses because it creates strong imprints on our mind. Like we might not clearly understand them immediately, you know, they're not easy and they need to be thought about. But even if we don't get the full understanding, you know, it creates imprints on our mind. And then next life, if we come in contact with the Dharma and we read these things, then we'll have this much clearer understanding. So it's very good to study these.
사자와데레도 란신라야 메미주 요바잔단 데와이 데메나나 예외다 민규타데 메시로스 다디제 다디올라데 칙디 데와잡다 란신라야 메미주스 시 제바디라오다 제바디 요바잠나 다 베저고나 말라시나 콘도 토데 제바디 요바잠당 란체스 에니 데베 미다베고 제단 제바디 란체스 에니 미다베고 록도지 제베고 도르고스 제바디 룹잠니네 계시 미다고 매우스나나 아니 제바디 매우 차도 그랬어요. 근데 인자 아니 제바디 미다바당 다징르게 아니 제바디 룹레스 어디 시고 다치도 단다들.
Okay, so just going through it, in Exposition of Valid Cognition, it states that which is contingent on the nature of another is related through its very existence. If the other doesn't exist, then its existence ceases because they are not distinct in nature. So it goes on to explain this in the text. Because the entity of impermanence that is innately related to a product's very existence is negated, the entity of a product is negated. Therefore, product is intrinsically related to impermanence. So this is essentially saying what we just went over. If you take the two, product and impermanence, if you eliminate product, of course, that means you eliminate impermanence. You can't eliminate product without eliminating impermanence. So this shows that they have this intrinsic relationship.
다다징디게 되어들 낭세게 요니요래로 캡중게 되어직당 캡냠베 되어직시 어디 신고다 된디고 하네.
Okay, so from this intrinsic relationship, then it breaks down into two types. There's smaller pervasion and greater pervasion, like universal in particular, so smaller pervasion and greater pervasion, and then there's equal pervasion. So these are the two types that you can understand.
다드네 대중되게 되어 다준되게 되어들이로 다디 진이셰도데 최최대단 다니 타대베고네 되어요와 간식 쓰자 최대매나 최매고가 되려 다디 갈라서나 최대당 안스나 베나 두어당 매더버질 샤샤나 두어당 매샤샤나 chösa de tuwal kore ro ne tuwa de chö 대당 세대 ne tuwa de me 대당 단위 타대래 군이 가가래 그러 뭐고나 타대다 아니 단위 타대 간실라 군이라 더워지요래 로 군이 매당 tuwa 베데 ngobe 로가래 이나 군이라 더워지요래
Okay.
더워데 가래여서나 chö데 매나 chö 매고 왔을 때 매매나 아니 tuwa 매고 레스타 어디다 chöde mena chö mego asde chöde med mena ane tuwade mego inza kuni dodu dande otere esta tishere.
That's it. So then the definition of something causally related to a phenomena is something that is related to a phenomena through being intrinsically distinct from that phenomena, and if that phenomena does not exist, it necessarily does not exist. So going on a similar line here. But to give you an example, this would be something like smoke and fire, right? They have a causal relationship because although they are by nature quite different, they are connected in the sense that if you eliminate fire, then naturally there's no smoke, right? So through eliminating the fire being the cause, then you eliminate the smoke. So this is an example of this causal relationship.
또 대기 콩라 도창도 도당 참만남리 인가창도 설류정배 도스로 또 설류정배 도서야 되래 나좀 된데지 아니 나 도게다 첨보제를 된데라 중이 된배 도데방도 된데라 중이 된야 도데르다 디여베 디총 디여베 디총 디여베 디여와 랍디 칼라거스나 베나 장바 장방 공부도 여나 아니 두용 그랬어 두로 두용 그랬어 두 디여베 장바 사면 그 누구 장바도 여나 아니 데부터 데 두단 데도 용 그랬어 다 데라 라이스
Drusina disappointed.
Drus야 되다 나 내다 봐. 다 내라 데랍신 데 데기 장봉 공부지어 봐. 디요나 아니 데 용거래서 봐. 디케베치 디케스도 아니 데디 데기 서울 데디 마타 답 용도 아니 디케베 또게 아니 디 용거래서 다 간다. 두스찬한테그래 디여베 디총 슬랍나로 봐. 데디여나 데디여나 테마 주진소나 답용도 아니 장봉공부도 용거래서 장봉공부 들어와. 장봉공부 디 데기 더 자와져 줘요. 데하고라. Rice.
I'm not familiar with the rice plant. Di
디여베 디총라도 다음에는 콘랍시 지나로 콘. 콘디 여나 콘 데부디 여나 아니 제메디 콘게 동보디 제디 레마단 디제디 용거레스
okay, yeah.
다디 디베 디충제 다 디제베 디체르스도 딱 콘게 동보디 제제 용데 한 디제라 가는 거래 콘이 용거레스다 제단 코 데워시기도 하다 데워치 용거도 하다 세우다
yeah. So going forward, it then takes some quotes. So the first one from the Rice Seedling Sutra and the second from Valid Cognition. So this right seedling sutra is very important, right? A lot comes from this. For example, the 12 links of interdependent origination stem from this right seedling sutra. And it goes on to say, when this exists, that comes to be. When the arising of this, that arises. So we use the example of like rice, and then there was something about maybe the roots or something blue on the rice plant, but I'm not sure what that is. But you could use corn, so we use the example of corn as well. When you have this corn kind of husk, then you naturally have the stem and all of the other things that are part of that, right? Or if you use like the rice plant and then the roots of that rice plant, these things, if you have one, then naturally the other comes about. So this shows this relationship, this causal relationship.
어디로 왔다. 덴데연라 중이자나 마릭바여나 두제 용거로. 두제여네 남시 덴데 용거로. 데네 마시젠 덴데연라 아망아말 덴데 치마치마디 제디 용거로 하다 간다. 어디시고라.
So this can also be said when you look at the 12 links of dependent arising. So from ignorance comes consciousness, karmic formation, and so forth, right? So this is a causal dependent arising, like one comes from the next one comes from the previous one and so forth. So they stem from each other.
다간다 어디 시기요. 윤대 어디 시기요. 와 사면들 때네 네 대부nyugu 용고 와 시기요. 와 대나 시간도다 매단 두발잖아 되요. 매요나 아니 두어디요나 매용고레스 매요고레스다. 두어요나 매매나 두어용고 말와. 디셔 데부디요나 유디요베 차르다. 매 두어요나 매요베 차르와. 두어요나 매요베 차르. 이나 투주 텔라다 고 말아요. 매매나 두어게 두고 말와. 매매나 두어 매고라. 어디다 디 도단디 신고다 간다.
So there's many examples you can use to posit this causal relationship. So the seed in the plant that is produced by that seed is one, and then smoke and fire. So we're using the example of smoke and fire. We can say smoke is the result of fire. So in order to have smoke, you necessarily have to have fire. And if you have, in order for, in order to have smoke, you necessarily have to have fire. And for smoke to be produced, you need fire to produce that smoke. So the result needs the cause, and also the cause produces that result.
하지만 남들에게 책들에도 제스 조단 도발레스로 간시 관계 제도동 디라지 디유지 디지미든 레미총스라도 제 최간시로 간시 관계 제도서데 최간시 란레 텐신로 답변나 최변나 도와도지나 아니 도와란 신디레 메란 신디 셴바레스 나마 알와 이나야 네 도와디 매 편제디 매발라 매 편제디 유발라 되네 네 깨와레스로 편제디 유나 네 깨외 제스 도와스디 도와디 매 유발라 되네 네 도와 깨와디 총레스 아니 매나 미게 도와 수수디 매매나 아니 도와 깨고 말레스 제가 매 도와 도지 아니 도와 도와 수디 균제들 되네 네 최치마 간식 최치마도 가려서는 도와들어와 최치마 명예를 도와질 지그러 제가 네 최치마 간식 아마 관계 제스도 제가 최치마 도와디 아니 아마 매단 제스도도 통하래스 김생 가래서는 최치마디 도와지 도와 치마스데 레다 아마데 매 로아 제가 최치마디 가를 되네 총어래서는 매를 되네 총어디 통하래스 대답에 란신전데네 아니 규제남 대위인라서 제가 가래서는 도와디 매 대위레스 도와다위디 근데고네 매라 제스 돈동이어레스 대김제 가래서나다 대치를 미든베 줄레는 미중과 릭 미든베 규릭tum바 다 매도비하게 네 릭둥기 규딜레데네 네 도와 연구를 메시지기 릭 미든베 줄레 네 도와 연구 말레스 어디 셔거요 디지 미든 레미중세데네 릭 미든베 줄레 네 도와 연구 말레스 네 릭둥베 줄레 네 도와 연구레스 어다디 자와디 튼다 데레스로
similar class. Okay. So it goes on to an exposition of valid cognition. From the presence and absence, the presence of the effect is observed. Its nature is that of possessing a cause. Therefore, it does not arise from a dissimilar class. So, again, using the example of smoke and fire. So they're distinct phenomena, right? And they're by nature, the nature of smoke and the nature of fire are quite different. However, there's a beneficial relationship between fire and smoke, because fire produces the smoke. And conversely, if you eliminate fire, remove fire, then you eliminate smoke or remove smoke. So if there's no fire, there's no smoke. And the later phenomena, in this case smoke, comes from the previous phenomena, in this case fire. So the fire precedes the smoke, and then the smoke follows the fire. But they need to be of this similar class, since it says in the thing, since therefore it does not arise from dissimilar class, it is ascertained to arise from fire. This is talking about the smoke. So this similar class is necessary for it to be produced.
다들 대원이디 가는서 뒤에 초나라 대화 쉬어다 대원인가로 초나라 아니 대화 친구 요래서 답변나 다진디기 되와 캡지 집중기 되와디 처연한 자나 간주 지당 치라와 지세야데 캡치어 들어왕들어 간주 촉바들와 촉바단 촉바진 변화당 알아서는 잔다게디 간주 촉바와 간주 잔다게디 연라와 제가 이제 최소디 약고요나 아니 만한서 약고 연구로 제상 알아서면 미스스스 미레레레레게 스스스스스 그 미레레 레가레레 요데디 그다보다 제지 최소의 야고용야 상담이나 최소의 야고용나 아니 수수 지달의 야고용으로 대상로마다 버체 수수 야고용야 지고 상마다 최소의 랑메다나 최소의 야고마요나 아니 수수의 연구 말하다 어디다 대화도 하다 지단 다딩을 단단 알아서 무엇을 대화요한테 촉바대로 최소로 다디네야 자셔다나 뉴질랜드의 야고지요나 아니 안졸의 야고용으로 배나단다 배 야고시도 coronavirus di New Zealand jagab korang jasada adengi ka the mima gi nyen chene ta ngazol tanda kangi medwa o desre ta dine ya cher na ne zambuling korang la yawo yona ngazol yawo ta zambuling namshi gi sadwe di jodu di ngazol kangi yongu da zambuling kangi yodi ngazol kangi yongu da o di 당고 gi chokboda chokba jensa jidan chida sa ta dezo gi dewa di chongo na la takda do handro
So how do we relate to this in our daily life? Well, this comes up a lot. So if we look at this intrinsic relationship first, this universal and particulars relationship. So for example, if we take the greater aspect, the greater gathering, so we could say Chandrakirti Center, for example, and then we take the small aspect, so the individuals that live here and come here and like this community. If the greater one is doing well, then it benefits the individuals within that community, right? So in this way, you know, if the center runs harmoniously on a whole, then it benefits everybody within it, and the individuals can be happy. So, you know, you shouldn't come to think just about, oh, what's my own benefit in this situation? Because if the center runs well, runs smoothly, then that benefits all the people within it, right? And so it's a symbiotic relationship. And if we go in a vaster scale, we can look at New Zealand, right? If New Zealand does well, then everybody who lives here benefits. So, for example, this coronavirus situation where the government and the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, has done a pretty good job in preventing the spread of this virus. And then that means for us, we don't have all the difficulties of dealing with it. You know, and on a vaster scale, if the world or the planet is going well, then it benefits all the individuals within it. And if it has difficulties, it harms them. So, for example, this global warming and weather patterns changing can cause a lot of difficulties and problems for the people who live on this planet. And not only the people, the beings that live on this planet.
지상도 뒤주니 삼로다 des 자체서들 삼로단토이나 야보도 아니 수수 로아디 촉바가나 아하바데 양저양지 간다 잠블링다 뉴질랜드다라는 데즈 투스타드 시다 더 메버로지요로 이네다 알아서 베나 전대가디다 촉바 전부 차용 거라 디 야보 여베이나 나신게 펜토도 나신데 야보 여베이나 뉴질랜드를 펜토도 거야 야 더여야 야 뉴질랜드도 더여나 잠블링을 펜토도 하고 어딘상 잠블링 제가 망고 뉴질랜드를 뺐다고 여러디 내가 지단들을 뺐다고 그래서 라고도 미 삼로야고 땅토미티즈 라고도 합니다. 현대 무지고 삼미티즈 데논드레라고 그러고 록다운 채나 베샤 톨라레 밀강이요레 틴티강이 테스트 요로 이나 체사델 삼노다나 덴데르바 호다 간다 디페데로베로 레팅사 양야 찌네 마도네야 제다네야 도단디 요르다 간다르바 디즈다 총은 난 되어도 와라 되어리다디
So, you know, also we need to understand this interconnected, how we're interconnected and how the smaller things affect things on a larger scale. So we talked about how we affect Chandrakirti, and then everything is in this world is connected. If Chandrakirti does well and people say, then that affects on a larger scale can help to benefit Nelson and Nelson going well. And if all the different communities in Nelson do well, And Nelson itself can have a positive effect on New Zealand, right? And New Zealand can then sometimes have a positive effect on the world. I mean, we see it now, the way that New Zealand handled the coronavirus situation is held up as an example, right? And the government and what they did is seen as something positive, right? Obviously the lockdown caused some problems, some money and some other difficulties, but on a larger scale it had a lot of benefit as well. So you can see how if New Zealand does something in a positive way, it can be held up as a positive example for the rest of the world.
Tandi dewa yuwa dirwa. Tadi ne dewa niwadi. Dewa niwadi. Ni yundeek dewa di. Tadi dewa shukchambu shoyo re benarwa. Manzo ta diji se tanda di jomdende tanda di sungda tanda di ta chwe tamje gyujen la dine chungore. Duje tamje gyujen la dine chungore sirwa. 계신 직배 최진 뒤제 담제로 뒤제 담제 네 찍을 틱 때네 깨워래서 깨워서 내가 규진을 되네 깨워래서 근데 균대 될래로 균을 되네 깨워래서 친구보다 깨워이나 아주 셈난 게 디지데 깨워래로 셈난 게 동의데 깨워래 세상 데이터 균대게 되어 될라다 치오지 근데 당간서 남배 믹스에 투모만 레 균대 시고라 그것도 상마 레단 레 데브리사 레 서버리사도 상마 아니 균대기 계제 견자로 왔다. 근데 대화디 균대기 대화 견자 셰되기요. 레스라.
So when we look at this cause and effect relationship, the second one, that obviously comes up very strongly in our daily life, right? Our happiness, our suffering, all of these things are produced. In fact, all composite phenomena are produced from causes. All compounded phenomena are said to be products, and all products are obviously produced. And what are they produced from? They're produced from causes and conditions. So in this way, like obviously the physical phenomena is produced like this, but our mind, our happiness, our suffering, this is all produced by this cause and effect relationship. So this cause and effect relationship is very important in our daily lives to understand.
알아서 단다 딘데 연구도 와산산라 나 직경에 과자로 딘데 강예로 동예로 딘데 톱톱톱라 연구도 와 그래서 지금 라메베 토네 강예 딘데 연구도 와산산라 와 라메베 도저 상문 데브리 용암은 건데 성어로 와 제가 육하시에 세들로 성어를 육하시에 생아마라 겨왕아마 망고라 용엄마 친 데브타나 미라 세상에 데브드 미사바텔라 아도 딱 용주래 데브드 용아야 내가 빌 데브 용 다디 데브디 규진데 간에 중도 상당제 나서 진짜다 데브디데 마야라네 다디 용아란저디 연대행게 저로 포스티를 따고 그래서저로 가두이나지 심면함이하고 자다 아니 가두인 하고든 아란저다 믹스에 태버짐에 추연연의 중요서다 아니 닝제 당 전주게 셈다 아니 딘데게 삼다제 강해든데 강해디 야 체로 마담하시로 체로 마담에 답시 강해디 당보 체로 마다야 답시 니와디네 자원에 마요야 답시 디 미스스스스 그 처연나라 내가도 최고보다 디 맞아 나나네 다 시림디 내 연구 왔다 최 그냥 저디 디내 연구로 니만님의 그 처연나게 강의 연구디야 체로 마다지 강의디 충으로 다야 답시지 아니 진짜 수수게 대화이나래 디기나래 냠내이나래 도저지 야구 컨데스 야게 컨데스 당고도 단당에 지역이 냠내디게 딩아랑게 아니 셈게 다 줘봐들라 줘봐 땅 두고도 민도 와 먼저 kumshikashi 탁보 쇼지도 알아 미 하고르데 당 알아서 정말 로야들레 차윈자 싱두스 국차르 데스 디아 동거스나 데스 가고 열다 아유 싱디 데즈 디는 레라오다데 디 레라오다 딘데지나 요도 단도라 먼저 차고 차야 되라니 이 시다 우즈견나 차야 냥가 열
So, often, obviously, we face difficulties in our life, and these are not under our own power, right? We don't choose them. They just, they come about, right? But they're still said to be a result. And it's a result of what? Well, some of them are a result of this life, but more, the majority, are a result from previous lives. And these come about due to both causes and conditions. So for this reason, it's important to always focus, try and get the positive side, right? Try and develop our positive qualities, try and have positive aspirations, prayers, and also develop positive qualities like compassion and bodhicitta and so forth. But also, of course, when we do face difficulties, it's important not to make them bigger, right? In our daily life, we want to gradually change our thinking, try to think in a more positive way, so that when we face difficulties, we can use them in our practice, and we can see how to use them to develop. And also, we need to check this relationship when we decide whether to engage in something. Think, is this going to have a positive result? Is it not going to have a positive result? Is it worth doing? But this changing our way of thinking is not easy. Like, as we get older, we become like this bent stick, right? And it's quite hard to straighten out. And guess like that lamp thing he's got, that's pretty easy to straighten out. You just whip it out there. But a bit of wood is not that easy to stay. So if we're like a bent stick, it's not very easy to straighten ourselves.
죄송합니다. 나라서 탑시 연소 고급지하고 가르쳐나. 디 학벌디 낭배추 디나네 대고침배추 디나 로종게 냠내 먹고도 알아. 또 조종원에 편도 쉬우지도 로종게 로종게 냠내 제야도 배 야고 쉬우지래다 다단다 점블링디나라 닝제 나라서 최저 기 구직진이 내가 미친이도 닝제 마다네 내주강에 직태도 내주디 체로 당셔거든 디절을 아니 닝제 마담바당 수수생기 셔러 마다네 다 저거요라라 오늘에는 최진이기 대생게 네 속바지기나 강에도 충으로 당고요라 마담바치 강에도 체로 당거도 디절을 닝제 마다라 닝제 마다네 닝제 마담바당 아니 랍자자니지 기게야고 지면 랍자자니다 수수 아니 수수 이지치서 미디 르마케바 수수 미지 랍자자니디 칼마녜바 근데 쟤네 나 쉬우지 인스르바 저런서 디 누저기 따와디 랑진지디 나로서 슉첨보로 랑진지디 쉬우지래도 탁부래도 다 남과산지에 저는 대버지 저는 다 시행을 제가 좀 버치고래서 삼루다야디 이 냠내로 오시다 매비나 아니 최저직 안에나 랑진지디 슉처러인데 아니 디 tat내주인데 명구도 알아 저는 내 가르댕어서나 먼저 내가 진이도 저래야 닝지에다 누가디 슉충다다 닝지 슉충다로 닝지대 야고 여외나 상마디로 닝지에나 닝지 매드에는 강에래도 와서 상말로 강에 쏘다라
So, we have many methods, and we have this opportunity to and opportunities to develop our mind in this positive direction. So, for example, mind training, this lojong, is very important because obviously the world needs more compassion, right? We need to develop more compassion, and on a larger scale, more compassion is needed. But if you lack this compassion or this wisdom, you can tend to make things bigger problems bigger and bigger, rather than making them smaller. And this you need to develop this wisdom and this compassion so that you don't make these things bigger, right? What makes your problems grow is one, lack of compassion, but also lack of adhering to the advice of your teachers and so forth, right? If you hear something, but then you kind of think, oh no, I don't need that, I know better, or I'm so important, then this just makes your self-cherishing stronger. And in the West, like, this self-cherishing is seen as something very positive. We tend to, a lot of people have a lot of strong self-cherishing. But in the Buddha Dharma, and particularly in the Mahayana, then it's seen as others. The focus should be on others. Others is more important than yourself. And this kind of thinking is very important, because otherwise if society just promotes this self-cherishing attitude, then it creates a lot of problems. But if you can, the people you work with or the people associated with you, you can develop more and more compassion towards them, then things become a lot easier, a lot more beneficial. In fact, the more compassion you have, the better things will be.
제가 나랑서 상관로 닝지에 제 땅을 오늘 주주 냠네 저랑서 간도연 제거요로 곰제거요로 상상라 이말에 주주 숨시 곰제 간도연 제 장가망고 사 간도연 수수 삼로데즈 마다나나 이 체엑스로 차니 이 스트레스 리그더로 간도연 시에 daily practice too long.
Oh, right, okay.
You do daily practice too long, not thinking in your mind, not developing compassion and wisdom, and then your daily practice making you stress. Oh, I do this. I have this commitment. And then exactly the same. No much different. No more job making you stress, and practice you make stress. And what is point is stress? Practice making stress. They say, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. Don't do that. Just be relaxed. And this to do you do. If you have time, and your practice need a little bit longer. If you're not enough time, you need a short practice and good quality. And don't think too much. Mantra, what he say, what he thought, no point, no point, And some people do like that here, Therefore, I already say, Holiness Dalai Lama, sometimes he do Goya Samaja prayer practice, sometimes 1 day, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Sometimes he do 20 minutes finish, You need sometimes, if you have time, you need a little bit long. If you're not enough time, maybe short need to finish. Then if prayer not making stress you, Easy to your prayer become flexible. Otherwise, you all the time. Similar, your computer, Computer. We are no computer, Exactly. Every day, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Sometimes busy time, then we don't have that making very light to go to bed, not enough sleeping, body so weak. This is not really practical. 제가 먼저 이 냠내로 든지 지당 시행으로 마시나나 니 간도연시에 냠내시에게 강에 터봤어요. 내가 선범마지요 망었어요.
So when we practice, we need to be careful. If our daily practices become sort of like a burden, then it can actually add to our stress. It can add to our difficulties.
디 간도연다 냠내시에 디 당보들 원래 스트레스 도스다 매우 소라.
The point of having commitments and doing practices to eliminate your stress, right?
원래 지 바와 전부 제 미신다 그 심 요다모드는 스트레스 되는 매우 소라.
So if it's this vast practice that has, if you want to have this vast ability to transform everybody else's mind, but you can't, you need to deal with your own stress, make your own stress less first.
되네 그래. 다디 닝지들이셔 뭐네 닝지 야르제 닝지 간라 고미하고 야베이나 닝지디 야르제야고 요나 아니 뭐네게 따지 가서 그래 로덥 첨부와 로덥 첨부잖아 아니 내주 춘주 든지라 항상 말하고 동해들 태어나서 아니 동해들 통연데 아니 저와 숙처로 둬야 된다 요나 뒤야고도 하든 아니 쟁에 람디 키워서 쟁에 장주 람디 키워서 대용구여라.
So, what you need to do is slowly develop positive qualities, compassion. In particular, you need to develop this, right? And then if you have this it gives a mind like strength, like strong mind, fortitude, you could say, right? And if you have this kind of fortitude, then difficulties and things that arise only kind of increase your compassion, increase your love. And then at that point, you can use these obstacles, you can bring these obstacles onto the path.
아니 지글라 데 tired you. I think another thing is don't try it. 담보치기야 말이야. This like I want to chip bodhicitta, I want to chip some karma biting. This like may short maybe 3 months, 6 months. I want something like that. Yeah, there's no chance. You tired chezaro고 남자로.
Yeah, don't be tight, twist your mind up.
There's my 흘러지, 냠을 흘러지.
So relax.
Not too relaxed. Little bit relaxed. No, I think over right. I'm very relaxed in any who do right.
If you relax too much, you'll fall asleep. So.
Just the big young thing doing that. Got them kisses on. Big young things. Call Jalher Sunda. Me, Taran Voltanga, Gajin Tangmin Sum, the college again, sir. Big Taran. Gawa did you go, my, but Gawa Jemma, my, but Gawa Tangmin Sum, college jam the Sanji. Call Jalher, Tanda Kugo Khan over the Lurche, you know. And then Yamlay Yungure, teaching water.
So the Dhamma masters used to say, have this kind of vast view, but this relaxed aspect. So what they mean is that you got to have a long-term view, right? You're not thinking just this life or the next life, but this practice of 3 great eons. But in your daily behavior in that, then be very relaxed. So you can have this long-term vast view, but then be very relaxed. And when you have that long-term view and this relaxed attitude, then the practice comes well.
sim to damshagdo. This pa Jashimutan some the mal hershi chadora. Any similar Ningje Dang Chamba than Savada to the Getora to the Givina, and Shinda Ranjinzi to the Yonsei Omaro. And do that.
So, you know, if we put too much kind of intensity or pressure on ourselves, then our mind becomes very tight. And then it just becomes wound up and it doesn't work. But if you can relax the mind, give it some sort of space, then you can start to produce attitudes like loving kindness, compassion, and so forth. And if you have strong compassion, then no chance for self-cherishing to arise, right?
We have, you know, sometimes the Germany people is very tight, you know. I have some friends, Germany friend, and one is my classmate. She's a very tight person. He said, we need to go there, like that. Oh, 2 minutes late, something like that. Exactly, this is too tight, you know. But Tamdana, and you penna, Nimudo, the Kangidara. This is Jela Yungur, this is Gila Yungur, Mission Mimaro. Machine, go choose a tangle on and choose a tangle get down or bang 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 zero. Choose a new bang 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 go, Mission Dog, not the Mission Maro.
We've got to give ourselves cut ourselves some slack, I guess. You know, we're not machines. Like machines, you can just go, okay, do this at 1 o'clock, make this boom 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 noise, and then at 2 o'clock do this function, right? And machines just do it, right? They just do what they're programmed to do at the time, but people are not like that.
Need fixable. You can look in Indian people, you know, to relax.
They're pretty relaxed.
Okay, lama, okay. Come tomorrow. You sometimes go to in a mess. Oh, we have taxi table. We need to leave. Maybe we need to leave 2 o'clock. You know, and he said maybe you come 11 o'clock, and then he come 2 o'clock. You know.
You're lucky.
1 hour, 2 hours doesn't matter, isn't it?
Doesn't matter. One person's digging a hole, 3 people need to watch to make sure that he's digging it right.
Funny. India too relax. And sometimes they say, oh, you come tomorrow, okay, I can give you tomorrow, you know. And tomorrow goes, oh, something, okay, sorry, I'm going to give you tomorrow. Tomorrow never finish it. We have some seller, we have nickname, he said, Kalparsu Babo, Kalparsu Babo. Kalparsu means tomorrow or day after tomorrow. His nickname is tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Mr. Similar, Kalparsu Babo.
Mr. Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, his nickname, everyone knows him in Koshanaga. We say, oh, Kalpa, but he's very good, this Tonga Mega, best, but he's,
Slow.
maybe some say like if they 1 week, he give 1 month later, but no rush, just give him. He is very good, good quality. Serving. Oh, do you have question? No question. We stop here. Okay.
Okay, so we did the questions for the discussion. If there's any clarification needed, let me know before I leave.
You send a bingo.
Yeah, Bingo's got them.
In this question, you have how many weeks? 3 weeks after exam. You can discussion. Maybe you can make plan. Maybe one time we meet to share. Sometimes we make do different discussion. You can group discussion. Good question. And I have holiday. Oh, man, I'm driving. you are discussion. I'm driving. Some go somewhere. Huh?
Or you can study while you're That's good.
Okay. Please stop here.
Steady one.
中西没道长，来拉人些年的肩膀的，面的我也这个男的先来就不来说，拉点些那个真来就是结巴当，路上天白准备杀松节，这外没事大多那就。Mururane Mandela Kamniya Dayami.
Due to the merit of these virtuous virtues,
Yadi Nina Namana Yuna Jinya Di Govashi. Jadan Jara Maji Majivana Jivanya Vana Chandravana Jini Shavana Jizu Rangu So Jivajana Tamje Dobe
rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhist way and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. Dedicate all these fruits of virtue with the dedication of praise to Buddhists, by the victorious ones thus formed the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the King of Dhammas, Tsongkhapa's way of Dharma practice flourish. May the omens of obstacles be pacified, and all conducive circumstances be complete. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind tempting gap, so I beseech. May all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Saviour of the Snowland teachings and transmigratory things, who makes extremely clear the path that is unification of emptiness and compassion. To the lotus holder tempting gap, so I beseech. May all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. You who uphold the securest moral